This week, I want you to create your own graphic design resume and cover letter. So in this video, I want to spend a couple of minutes discussing things that should be a part of your resume and how you can build this for your job application. If we go to Google and do a quick image search for graphic design resume, you can find lots of great examples of different ways you can lay out your own personal design. What makes a graphic design resume different from a traditional, or what I call a boring resume, is that your resume should be very visually appealing. If you're a graphic designer working in a creative industry, everything that you do needs to showcase the kind of creativity that you have. And this starts with your resume and your cover letter and follows through with everything that you have in your portfolio. So with your resume, I want it to be very visually appealing and have a lot of visual interest. As with most things within graphic design, they have certain trends. So if you look at these kinds of resumes, you'll find a lot of things in common with them. Things like large names, they'll have a photograph. Sometimes that photograph will be in a circle or a specific shape. Oftentimes, all of the information will have certain designated areas and will have certain titles or maybe even some icons and timelines. Now, there's tons of different ways you can lay these out, and there's no right or wrong way of doing it. But I do need to make sure that your resume is easy to read and easy to understand, and it also addresses the needs of the job you're applying for. Next, I want to make sure you have full control over how your resume is designed and laid out. There are some great websites that will help you build and create a resume. So here's resume.com. With this website, you can choose some different templates, and you can see these templates. Some of them are more traditional and boring, and some of them are a lot more creative. But with these websites, you're going to type in your information and it's going to plug in that information into a pre-made template or a pre-made design. And then it's going to give it back to you as a PDF. Now also with these websites, there's a cost associated with them. So once you pay for them, they'll send you a PDF, and then you won't be able to edit that PDF unless you go back onto the website and create a new one. So this isn't the best way to start off creating a resume. Instead, I want you to use your skills in Adobe InDesign or maybe even Microsoft Word to build out your own design. But you can definitely start by looking at how other people have laid out their resumes and how they approach placing all of the content within them. The second thing you need to do is to find the needs and the values that your job is looking for when you apply for it. Websites like ZipRecruiter.com and Monster.com are great free resources that you can join to help you find job descriptions in different locations and for different companies. Another place you can find job descriptions is through professional organizations like AIGA. They post jobs that are available all around the United States, and they'll give you contact information and even some price ranges to look for these kinds of jobs. For my example, I found a graphic designer who was needed for the company Nuke's Eatery. This is a great little restaurant that I love to frequent, and they're looking for a graphic designer in the Jackson area. So as I dive into this is giving me a wealth of information about who the company is and what they're looking for. So I'm going to tailor my resume and cover letter to match the needs and requirements of these job responsibilities. If I scroll down, I'm looking for certain keywords, like I'll be designing brand pieces and brand collateral. They'll need someone who can make advertisements, menus, social media. I'll be working on the website, so they need someone who knows HTML and WordPress. They'll need someone who's fluent in Adobe Creative Cloud and has a solid design knowledge in design principles and typography. So all of these are great things that I need to make sure that I can tailor to the needs of this particular client. Also, if I scroll down, it gives me a little bit about who the company is. And so this is all part of the research. Nuke's is an eatery in the emerging fast casual concept. They have over 100 locations. This means they're a major company. They're not just some small mom and pop organization. They're the kind of company that wants me to bring their A game to the needs and values of their company. So as I go into my resume, here I found an example online and I copied that particular layout, but I decided to plug in my own information in this particular order. To give you a brief overview, let's zoom in. At the top, the most important thing they need to see is my name and who I am. Graphic design professional. So that's large and bold. The second most important thing is my contact information. They need to be able to quickly know where they can email me, how they can call me, or where they can find my portfolio. So I always put this at the top, easy to find next to my name. When you talk about your work experiences, I've listed these in chronological order, having my most current job at the top and my least current job down towards the bottom. And these don't have to be exact dates. In my case, I just put them as the years that I started and about the year that I stopped. And the only work experience that I've listed are things that are pertinent to the needs of this job. So things like being a freelance designer, working as an in-house lead designer, and finally being an associate professor teaching graphic design. Some work experiences that I don't have were things like I used to teach karate at the local healthplex. Now that helped me as an individual person, but it didn't really help me be a graphic designer. So I didn't include that on this kind of work experience. The other thing that I've included under my work experience are some action verbs telling me the kinds of things that I did as I worked for them. So I worked closely with independent clients, print shops, and business owners. When I was an in-house designer, I oversaw production and design of marketing materials. Again, there's words that I've picked up and found within the job description. And currently, I'm the coordinator of the undergraduate program at Graphic Design, and I teach software skills at all levels of the degree. All of these are very important and a great way to start off your resume. Regarding education, for me, I have both my bachelor's degree and my master's degree in the area of graphic design and fine art. So both of those can be added to here. I didn't add my high school degree, but if you haven't finished your bachelor's degree, it would be appropriate to add that to your education. Also, if you haven't finished a degree, you can say that you're currently working through your bachelor's or your associate's degree and give an expected graduation date. Other things you can add under education are any workshops or any online classes that you've taken that'll help in your training for the job that you're looking for. So if you've done something that's related to the graphic design field that helps your education, it would be very appropriate to add this under this marker. The final bit is the skills and the software that are pertinent to the needs of this job description. If I go back, I can see that they need me to be fluent in the Adobe Creative Suite. So when I come here under the software, I'm listing Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign. I'm also listing other software, like I know how to work in Adobe Animate and older software like Quark Express. Even common software like Microsoft Office, Excel, and PowerPoint. These are all things that are commonly used in most businesses. I've worked a little bit in web, so I'm not shying away from adding that to my list of software and skills. And other artistic things that I can bring value to their company. So I know photography and illustration, that's definitely part of it. Within their job description, it talks about working closely with their printers and making things print ready. So some of the skills that I have are working with pre-press setup and post-press setup and printing in the printing industry. The final thing that I like to add under here are any professional organizations or professional things that I've done. I'm a member of AIGA, I've coordinated workshops, I've given lots of speeches, and I do lots of teaching on YouTube. I've even done marketing and branding consultation for different businesses. And all of that is quickly and easily summed up under different categories, under the major categories of skills and software that I know. The final thing that I add to my resume is a little bit about myself. And this doesn't have to be anything fine or fancy. If anything, you should be a little bit more relaxed and personable. I'm adding a photograph of myself just so they know what I look like. And I talk about myself as being a husband, a father, a teacher, and a designer. And so my quick summary of who I am gives them an idea of the kind of person that they're going to be hiring. So take a couple of minutes and write a little bit about yourself. Just a quick, maybe 3 or 4 sentences that sum up who you are as being a personal person. The last thing I like to do is to add some contact information that they can see more about me beyond just my portfolio. Things like my Behance account, my social media in Facebook and YouTube and Instagram. Now, if you're going to add things like social media, make sure you're aware of the kinds of pictures that you've posted on these websites. You don't want to add or post anything that may get you in trouble or may show a side of you that nobody wants to really hire. The final thing I want you to add is a cover letter. Now, a cover letter is going to address some of the more specific needs of the kind of client or the kind of job that you're working for. I start off my cover letter again with an action verb. I'm eager to work in a fast-paced marketing environment. I got that particular wording directly from the job description of the graphic designer for Nuke's Eatery. Then below, I bullet point and list out some of the previous examples of jobs and projects that I've worked on. These bullet points are going to turn into talking points if they ever call me in for a one-on-one job interview. So I started to think about what are some fun things that I've done when working at the Mississippi Baptist Convention Board, or what are some things that I've taught about over the last 6 years as a graphic design teacher. Everything from working as a freelance designer to being a member of AIGA, all of these are great simple things that I would love and be proud to talk to them about if I was ever to meet with them one-on-one. So this is what a cover letter should do. It should be the kind of thing that adds excitement to your resume and makes them want to contact you and know more about the kinds of values you're going to bring to their graphic design position.